So you refused to feed his ego.
Yeah.
And in fact, he did you a favor, and he didn't know that by sending you to the front lines. Because at that time, the two sides were facing each other, ready for gunfire. And all of a sudden, amidst all the destruction, music came in and cut through the whole experience. Which side started first, exactly?
The Iraqi guy. Like, you know, the front line, it should be like a hill, right?
Yes.
To protect the army.
Okay.
So I was stationed at that line at that time, and it was after midnight. I started my guarding this line. So I was walking down, you know, on the front line, and so this 18 years old soldier standing there and just start singing.
Wow.
And you know, Shatt al-Arab it's a divide the part of Iran, the other side of the river, and Shatt al-Arab, and then the Iraqi side. And I hear right away the Iranian soldiers singing with him the same scale.
Oh.
And they started to color it, you
Wow.
know, in the air. And it
was a duet.
A duet between them.
Wow.
Like, kind of like give you the other side of the extreme. You know, in a really sharp moment.
Yeah. From my interviews with both Iraqi and Iranian people, even though there was such a long war, I've always been struck by how they never actually expressed any hatred for the other side. They always understood that it was the rulers who had put them into this situation. No one really, really wanted this kind of destruction.
Yes.
And this is a perfect example of that.
Exactly.
So it must have been very striking for you to have had studied art and the mystical beauty and be put into this situation. And as you said before, there were things in art such as Islamic decoration that you were very familiar with, and that there was a deeper meaning and a transcendental feeling when there was a repetition of the sequences and patterns. Can you explain a little bit about the Islamic decoration?
Well, it's further than that. It's started like when I was little. Always my eyes goes to you know, the Islamic ornamentation, and you know, it's so detailed, and especially the Turkish. You know, jewelries or kind of like pots and candles,
Right.
holders, and this kind of things. It's always amazed me, like this kind of detailed, crafted materials. And then my older brother, he's a religious person, and he used to take me to mosques and stuff. So I look from the inside, these kind of buildings and the architect.
Oh, I see.
But when I grew up and also started my researches about philosophy and arts and ideas of anything based to find anything make me find the definition of this life. I discovered so many detailed through researching into the mythology of the Sumerian, and the same ideas of that definition is all go onto the round and repeating and detailing, and to make you amazed of this kind of bigger life. For example, is the myth of the creation and Sumerian myth of creation, and make through the Marduk, the god of gods, and ordering the Anu, the god of sky, to make the universe. And if you look at the universe, you can see the amazing huge kind of all these plants around us. And if you shift your eyes and go to any Islamic ornamentation, you're going to see the same amazing details, and it's reflect the kind of similarity between the universe and the art itself.
We have someone who had come from a dictatorship and had your life threatened, and so the idea of your own mortality was very clear. So you were had to run and be in exile in Jordan, and had a room with absolutely no windows, and yet still you saw hope and life there. And then you came to Canada as a refugee. The most interesting thing is, and now you're creating with your show in this round stage, almost a refuge for those who see it to expand a greater vision. Now, your show has incorporated multidisciplinary elements. So there's dancers, and there's musicians, poets, the audience members. You are in charge of the lights. Now, what was the inspiration of shining the lights onto the show in a specific manner to bring about the overall connection?
Well, if you let's start from here. If you go to the theater, it's a black box theater, and round stage in the middle for the dance, and people, audience, sitting around that stage. And the artists, singers, poets, planted within the audience, right? It's all creating a little universe.
Okay, integrated.
Yeah. So what I do, I shine the lights on the artists, different timing. They don't know when is the light going to shine on them. The inhibited, and they have to surrender to the energy which is going to come out from them. But they have to have that dialogue between them and continue life. Now, when I was in Baghdad, 1991, and during the war, the Desert Storm, I was under bombing. I see the sky sending this light
from the bombs
on Baghdad, and turn everything into the disaster and death. My idea was, when I came here to Vancouver, is to refuse that death making. The sky, it's more, from my perspective, is more beautiful than to give us that. So I flip the idea of war. The sky would send lights onto the ground to make beauty.
Lights of creation instead of lights of destruction.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And it worked. Like now we've been